Hello everybody, welcome to my solo RPG playthrough as I use the ShadowDark system and we follow the adventures of Falman and Percy. Now today we're changing something up a little bit because Kelsey over in the Arcane Library released the SoloDark rules. So in a PDF form, so I grabbed that and now we're going to transition into SoloDark. Now I'm still going to pull upon the Mythic GM emulator when needed. I'm going to push it to the side and try not to use it. But every now and again, if I need some more motivation or something, I might drag on that. But I'm going to try not to, and we're going to try to focus on using the SoloDark rules and try those out. And where do we leave off? We had our two anti-heroes, Falman and Percy, fleeing in the woods, pursuing after a warlock named Ashbourne, who's carrying a tome that they want. That tome contains either great power or great knowledge about something to do with the dead or immortality or something along that lines. What exactly, we're not too sure yet, but we know it's of vital importance because there was also a great red dragon who also was interested in this book. So Valeros the Flame Tyrant, now he appears in the middle of this Festival of the Dead here. And he has his sights set on, he must have tracked magically or by some scrying means or whatever means we're unsure of. But he made his way to this festival because he knew that the book was here. Now, why did the foolish warlock named Ashbourne carry such a powerful artifact with him? Who knows? He has a low IQ stat. We rolled for his stats. He's pretty dumb. I think we determined he was trying to probably transport that from one point to another, and in the meantime stopped into a Festival of the Dead. He's also trying to recruit members into his Warlock group. Now his Warlock group is called the Hallowed Pack, and this book was called the Immortal Echo Tomb. Now, he was trying to recruit more members into the fold, probably by displaying to them that this book of power, who knows, he's kind of foolish for taking here to begin with, but maybe he'll be penalized or by the Lich afterwards. Ashbourne refused to give up the book because I rolled a 1 in 100 chance, but he refused to give it, and as he was going to hold onto the book until he died, he just called out to his master, the Death Caller, and said that he had failed them. But saving Ashbourne's ass was the Lich. The Lich showed up. Bellathor, Death Caller, shows up, and rather than just grab the book and leave, what does she do? Well, I rolled extreme no or extreme yes, whatever the answer was. So she decided, no, I'm gonna take on this dragon. I'm gonna show this dragon who's boss, right? So then we had this epic battle going on. Meanwhile, she befuddles one of her spells and tears a hole in reality. We get to see a constantly stretching and ripping tear in the universe itself. And we see another realm on the other side. Now, what is that realm for? We're not sure yet. We'll get more into that, sure, as the story unfolds. But it was an epic battle which led our anti-heroes to the time to flee into the woods. Also, Ashbourne. Now, Ashbourne was rushing off himself. He realized that this was an excellent distraction. He starts running deep into the woods, and Falman and Percy are like, rather than just flee and get out of here, they are so obsessed with power that they were like, okay, let's pursue after this warlock and try to get that book for ourselves, right? Of course, that's mostly Falman wanting that, whereas Percy was more of just wanting to survive. So we're going to push the Mythic emulator away, not really have to try to call on that this time. We're going to try to use the SoloDark rules, but I am going to see if the scene begins as expected. So Falman and Percy, hoofing it, running as fast as they can to chase after Ashbourne. Ashbourne has a pretty good lead on them. He's not in line of sight, but they did see which way he sprinted off into the forest. As the two are pursuing them, these forests in this area, as all forests in a fantasy world pretty much should be, for the most part in my opinion, are very dangerous. There's all kinds of magical creatures and hazards and all kinds of different things that can happen. So let's start off by using the SoloDark rules and ask it a affirmative question. Okay, it's actually quite simple how this new SoloDark system works. You have to ask it a affirmative question about the scene coming up. Then there's odds. You have to pick whether it's unlikely or impossible. Either it's an even chance or likely and certain. And that determines whether you're rolling with disadvantage, a straight d20 roll, or rolling with advantage. The oracle results are, if there's a 1 to 9, it's a no. If it's a 10, there's a twist. And if it's an 11 to 20, then it's a yes. However, if the result is an odd number, then you add the word but to it. Now, this is with the exception of a 1 or a 20 result, but either way, you add a but to any odd numbers. And then there's the criticals. If you roll a nat 1 or a nat 20, it's the extreme outcome of the question that you asked. And then when you need help, there's a big number of prompts that you can call upon to get inspiration. So we'll use those when they come up as well. And that's pretty much it. So our first question is going to be, will Falman and Percy run into trouble? We'll determine the trouble after, before catching up with Ashbourne. All right, so we're going to hop over to the Oracle table. I put it in here rather than roll thing because I got all the answers in here, which is the same as rolling the D20, but I just made it a little easier. And we roll. Yes, but. See, so I rolled a 19, so it's in the 11 to 20 range. And it's an odd number, so then it adds the but, right? All right, so let's determine what this type of trouble is. Let's try to pull upon our prompts to jumpspark an idea. Now, I got them all put in here. They're from the book, and let's see what we get. Expand on death. Well, that's kind of fitting, don't you think? with exactly what's happening. Okay, let me think on this for a sec. I love that I have hundreds of options in there, and this is what it gave me. It's just so fitting for what happened in the previous adventure, because this is what I'm thinking. We already determined that that rip in reality was constantly expanding, right? And it was a bizarre realm on the other side with purples and blues and greens and that kind of thing. Now, I'm thinking that tear in reality has now expanded. And it's not only there, it's ripping in multiple areas. It's like a ripple, so there's rip here, and then like it's jumping, say, a mile, ripping here. It's just tearing pockets and holes in reality all over the area. And the word death means that there's going to be a death-like realm on the other side. How fitting for a lich, right? Come on now. This is working out perfect. Falman and Percy. They're running. They know the general direction that Ashbourne is heading. They're running. They're huffing and puffing. And as they do, they look to one another. Falman says, I think he went this way. Follow me. Follow me. And Percy replies, are you sure we should go in this direction? Is this book that important, Falman? Really? Come on now. We're way in over our head. Are you kidding me, lad? Who knows what type of power that book has? It's obviously a big deal, and we're gonna get it. Come on, keep up. They hear the roar of anger from Valeros far off in the distance, as now Valeros clearly has to try to find what happened to the tomb that he was seeking. Now, Falman and Percy, they come up over a hill. There's a slight clearing where they can look farther as the hill rolls down, and they, piercing through all the trees and the shrubbery, they can just catch a glimpse of Ashbourne as he dashes by. And they're like, oh, there he is, let's go! But in front of them, as fate would have it, as they spot him and they're just about to pursue, a rip in reality forms directly in front of them as a window into another realm of death, as we just determined. Emerging from this realm is what type of creature? So I'm looking for some low-level undead in the book that they can encounter. There doesn't appear to be any level 1 undead. However, there's a number of level 2s. So what do we got? There's ghouls, skeletons, will-o'-the-wisps, or zombies are all level 2. Now, will-o'-the-wisp is it's like a marsh thing possessed by an evil spirit, so that could come from the realm as well. So there's 4 of those things. Let's roll. Let's just roll a d4 and determine it. Okay, so I've put the creatures down here. From top to bottom, we'll roll a d4 to determine what emerges from this realm. 2 skeletons. Okay, skeletons it is. But we got a but. Now, the way I'm using but is going to be, so if the answer is, yeah, it'll be the opposite. So it'll give and take a little, right? So we got, yes, something bad is happening, but something, you know, else is happening that would be in the party's favor. Now, if it was a straight yes answer, then that would just be the portal would open, skeletons would be there, that's it. But the but makes me think that there's something that's going to be a little bit in the party's favor as well. Let's try to use the prompt to determine what the but might be. Well, let's go. Link Essence. Okay. Okay, and because I like to randomize things over here, we got 3 different types of skeletons. Skeletal fighter, mage, or a scout. Let's determine from a D3 from top to bottom. Well, let's try and find out. Roll. What type of skeleton is the first one to emerge? It's the third one down. It is a skeletal scout. The horrific scene of a skeletal warrior clad in chainmail and wielding a short sword with a short bow around its back. Clearly a fallen warrior from some other realm or whatever. But either way, this skeletal warrior now pulls itself out, tumbles, falls to the ground, and starts to get back up in front of Falman and Percy, who stand there for a brief moment in shock at what just startled them. Now, initiatives hand a little different in SoloDark, so we'll give it a try. It's basically you take one character from each side of the conflict, and then you roll their initiative, and then whoever wins, that team goes first, then the other team, and then each round you re-roll again to see. So there's a chance that one combatant or one team could go twice in a row, right? So that shakes things up a bit and can make things kind of crazy and deadly, but we'll see how it plays out. And I just noticed that Percy is still damaged after being hit by that flaming body in the festival when the dragon hit it and sent it flying into him when he wasn't able to avoid it. That being said, let's see who has the higher dexterity on the team. Holy crap, Percy, how do you have a -3? So it's clear that Falman will be rolling on behalf of his team, and he's up against the skeleton. So let's roll the initiative. Okay, so Falman will roll for the anti-heroes. Normal check. Rolled awful. The skeleton will now roll. Clearly, the skeleton gets to act first. Okay. The skeleton rises to its feet, draws its crude, kind of decaying short sword, rushes forward to slash at who? 1 will be Falman, 2 will be Percy. Oh, poor Percy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. Okay, but now here's where the but comes in. Now, I will say that the Spiritual Guardian, since technically it's trying to aid our anti-heroes, it'll go on the same initiative turn order as them. So, now we need to determine the Skeletal Fighter. Who is it going to open its attack? On a 1, it's Falman. On a 2, it is Percy. Flip the coin. It's going after Falman. Okay. I'm going to assume by now, after running through the forest, that his spell has wore off, because he would have had to have been maintaining focus on it the entire time. His mage armor, would we have said it has been 10 rounds? With all the running through the forest, I'm going to say no. His protection, his mage armor has fallen off. The skeleton is now coming in for its attack with a short sword. So as it rises from the ground, it lunges in with its crude blade. Let's see if it can actually strike Falman. That'll definitely be a hit. Ouch. Okay. So he only got an AC of 9. He has no spells up. His Featherfall, Mage Armor, Magic Missiles, Protection from Evil. He hasn't had a chance to cast any of that yet, as he was caught off guard here with this portal. Now, alright, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why I didn't show their health bars, but let me fix that now. Okay, there we go. I got it updated. You can see now how much damage our party has on them. That's pretty brutal. But now we switch over to the hero team. So, let's see. Behind the skeleton, into the tear in reality, you see a spectral guardian on the other side, still within that realm, unable to leave. However, their essence is still there and floating. And with that, they do see the righteous cause, maybe we'll say, of our anti-heroes. I mean, they are the living up against the undead. Now, this spirit that's in there is not malevolent or evil, and in fact, it wants to help them out. And with that, it's creating a link with them. I got in the bottom corner here now. Let's see how it links up with our heroes, whether it's going to provide healing, protection from evil, or blessing. I came up with these 3 options real quick. We'll roll a d3 to determine. So during this battle, it's going to try to use protection from evil to help. Okay, so in doing so, let's determine who it's going to try to put that blessing onto. 1, of course, is Falman, and 2 is Percy. Falman. Okay, so we now see this spectral guardian as it's still trapped on the other end of this window into another world. For whatever reason, since it's such a more of an spiritual essence, or something is preventing it, or maybe it just doesn't want to come into this realm or land of living, for whatever reason, it's staying on the other side. However, it links up. It, for a brief moment, its light radiates from it, its spiritual essence flows through the tear in reality and flows into Falman, providing him with the bonuses of protection from evil, which, if you're unaware, anything of a chaotic nature that now attacks Falman will do so at disadvantage. So it's a pity he didn't get to act first, but that's the way it goes. Okay, so now we're going to hop over to these two. Who wants to act first? So Percy or Falman? Maybe let's get Falman going. Did he want to just try to start attacking? Well, I feel like Falman is the damage dealer of the group. He does have good spells like Mage Armor and Protection from Evil and things like that, but somebody's got to do some attacking or this thing's just going to keep attacking, right? So I think it is up to Falman to do the attacking, and we'll get to Percy over in there in a second. So we're going to do Magic Missile. Now, Magic Missile is always cast at advantage. It says so under the spell. So let's see. Oh, I thought he would have lost his Magic Missile spell right at the gate. 11 is the DC. It's exactly enough that he hit it. Whew. So, a glowing bolt of force streaks from his open hand, dealing a d4 damage to the target. So, let's see how much damage he does to the skeleton. 1. Wow. See, the skeleton's got a lot of HP. They are out of their league right now. This battle is going to be brutal. I don't know how they're going to survive this. Okay, but we'll see. Now let's hop over to Percy and let's see what he can do. Now he's pretty crappy in combat. He gets -2 to attack and he does a little bit of damage. However, let's call upon his talents and things like that. Now he can carry up to 3 concoctions per inventory slot, so we're going to determine what concoctions he's got. Let's see. Once a day, using a small fire, you may brew 1 dose of 1 concoction from your concoction list. Okay. And you can perform an 8-hour ritual and medic. And you can restore hit points. So, since it's once per day and he's got to use a small fire, he would brew that for a specific situation, I think. We'll get more into his brewing in a moment. But I think at this point, he's probably got 3 times per day he can restore some health. He's a medic. So, I think in this case, he's going to try to position himself behind Falman, because he sees now Falman has this glowing radius of light around him, that he's now linked up with this spiritual guardian. He has a glowing aura that is protecting him from evil here. Now, that being said, he doesn't know exactly what that's going to do in mechanic terms, but it doesn't matter. He's going to rush behind, and he is going to use his medical ability. He can only do this 3 times per day to restore a d6 plus 1 HP. Let's see. Okay, a big 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly enough to get Falman back there. So, narratively, how would that go? Now, I just noticed about this class, it actually says like a medic. However, I think when you're restoring hit points, that wouldn't just be like first aid. It wouldn't just be like you come up, you put a tourniquet on, and then suddenly you gain a d6 plus 1 hit points, because that's a lot of hit points. I'm thinking, since he can make concoctions and brews, and that he's an alchemist, right? That's what the class is, the apothecary. I'm thinking, even though it's called medic, I'm going to say 3 times per day when he restores hit points, he's using some type of remedy that he has concocted, right? So, and he just happens to have it on hand. So, in this case, he dashes, rushes behind Falman, who's blasting with arcane energy into the skeleton while trying to avoid these swipes from the blade. And in doing so, he quickly pulls out a stopper or a bottle, pops the top off, and dives in and pours it over the wound and the gashing and the bleeding that's coming out of the arm of Falman. And immediately, it's unlike a normal healing potion that you would just drink and gain hit points. This one is more of a curative that you pour on a wound. And he pours it on the wound, and in doing so, you just see it kind of like heal over. What concoctions and things that he used to create this, who knows? He's an alchemist, right? In the fantasy world. Either way, he poured this elixir on the wound, it healed it. Let's move on. All right, well, now we got to determine who's going to go first for the next round. So, normal. And the skeleton. Okay, so this time Falman gets to go first. I'm not sure how this kind of initiative system will go. I've used this kind of initiative system in other tabletop games like Age of Sigmar and stuff like that, and it can create big swingy games when you get 2 rounds in a row, especially if it's a full team. It's another full round. So to get, like, if especially you had a party of 5, they all get to do their actions, and then you roll initiative again, they all get to go again. It totally swings a battle. Also, the same goes for the villains, right? So it's just very swingy. I'm not sure why that rule is there. Maybe it's to try to speed things up or to make things simpler. So in a solo game, you don't have to be tracking all the individual initiatives. So I get that. It makes sense. But let's try it out. We'll see. But on the bright side, our anti-heroes get to go first. So let's determine what they're going to do now. So we do have this spiritual guardian out there providing bonuses. So are we going to say that it can do something each round, or does it will need to maintain its focus with the protection from evil? I think it's just going to now maintain its focus on the spell. I'm not rolling for it, but that's fine. I think it's just, that's the bonus that it's providing, and it's there, and it's going to maintain the protection from evil on Falman. So the light aura, he's still radiating light. We'll move on to Falman, who has to try to continue to deal some damage on behalf of his party. Does he want to put mage armor up? It would help him keep alive. I think so. I think at this point he knows he already hit this with 1 blast from a spell, and it only like chipped off a minor like bone off of the skeletal warrior. He realizes he's going to be in for a long fight here. He probably definitely needs to use his mage armor and get that back up if he's going to have any chance in tanking this thing for his team. So let's try and cast this spell and see what happens. Failure. Failure. Does he have any luck? He does. He has not had to use his luck yet this game. So rather than lose his spell, I will uncheck his luck, go back to the spell, and he will try to cast it again. Normal. Failure. Now, does Percy, you can give luck in this as well. Does Percy want to give his luck over? Ooh, that could be hugely important later for something else that they might need. But I feel like if he doesn't get this mage armor up, he's going to be dead. So I think so. Percy will donate his luck over. Once again, they really need this spell. Can they pull it off? No. Fate would have it that this is it. They've not meant, and mage armor is now gone until Falman can perform a long rest. That's his action. Well, what's Percy going to do? Percy's back there. He only has a dagger and a mace. Percy is kind of wounded himself, and he's in no condition to go up there. And he doesn't have any ranged weapons. Now, I didn't give him a ranged weapon, like a bow or something, because his dexterity is -3. Like, he's so bad. But he does have a dagger and a mace. He's probably just... he could try to throw the dagger. And then he can just use the mace if he has to. Yeah, rather do nothing, he'll at least try and throw the dagger. So a dagger is a finesse weapon, which means you can use strength or dex when attacking with it, and even when throwing it. So he can just choose to use his strength to throw it instead of his dexterity. Okay, that's why it's -2. I was curious as to why it was a -2. All right, so he'll just throw it. Let's see. Oh, whoa, that's not enough. With the -2. I'd seen the 12. I thought he'd have some kind of pluses, but he doesn't. Percy pulls out his dagger, leans to the side, and takes the opportunity to throw his dagger towards the skeleton. Misses completely, just goes off in the distance. Now, that being said, Percy's normally here to protect Falman, right? He's like a protector, and he doesn't want any harm to come to him. But he's also a +1 intelligence. He's intelligent enough to know that there's some kind of aura now protecting Falman, and their best chance of winning this fight is for him to keep a bit of distance and you know, put a bit of space between the skeleton and Falman here. Just back off probably 5-10 feet, throw his dagger, and just keep a bit of distance and get ready to come in and do some triage, you know, if he needs to on Falman. That's probably his best angle at this point. Now we hop over to the skeleton. Now he's already engaged with Falman. They're pretty mindless, you know. He's got his target right in front of him. It's glowing with this aura about him, protective aura, but it's and the jaws chattering. And it swings its short sword with disadvantage because it has protection from evil spell up. his armor class is so low. Ooh, okay. Because even though it's disadvantage, Falman only has an AC of 9. So luckily enough, with this, and only because of the protective aura, so it's causing enough hesitancy, or, you know, with this glowing light of beacon coming off Falman, that when the skeleton comes in, it's got to like avert its eyes a little bit as it tries to attack through the light, and in doing so, it just misses completely. Now, then that means we got to roll for the top of another round. Let's go. Falman rolling on behalf of his party. Okay, a 9, and the skeleton has an 8. Okay. Wow, so our heroes get to act again, which is good. So let's see what they do. Let's hop over to the spells here. We got Magic Missile, Protection from Evil, which is already up, and Featherfall. Literally, he just has Magic Missile. What's his melee weapon like? Just a D4 with a +1. Yep, he's definitely better off doing the Magic Missile. So let's go, and it's always at advantage. Are you serious? Falman has lost, and they don't have any luck left. He lost his only form of attack. Well, magically. Oh man, this is going bad for our heroes. Okay. Falman extends his hand, and the arcane blast will come out. They stop, and he's trying to enchant these power words at the same time. He befuddles it, and the magic is pulled from him, and he doesn't have it anymore. And, damn it! He curses. And that's it. Now it's either fight or flight. Percy's thinking. Percy's been traveling Falman for a while. He knows his spell capabilities, and he realizes now, after befuddling Mage Armor and Magic Missile, that this is bad. So at this point, he's going to do what he does, and that's going to get in there to try to help defend Falman and get involved in the battle. So he rushes up here to get involved, and I guess he's going to swing his mace in an attempt to hit this skeleton. Let's go. Nat 20! Desperately needed. All right. Let's see how much damage that does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just when I think I was going to check to see if Falman and Percy were going to retreat because this battle was going so bad. Percy, defiant. Percy now knows that this battle is going bad, and he has no choice but to get into the fray. He pulls out his mace, dashes forward, sidesteps past Falman, swings his mace with all he can, with all of his hobbit and halfling might, and in doing so, swings true. The skeleton was not expecting this. The mace hits the rib cage of the skeleton and tears off into just an explosion of rib cage, bone, shattered debris, goes in all directions. Brutal critical hit coming from Percy. Okay, well, we hop back to the skeletal fighter. Now he does have 2 targets in front of him. So, which will it be? What will it be? At this point, I'm gonna roll. So, on a 1, it will continue to attack Falman, and on a 2, it will attack Percy. They're not very intelligent, so I'm not giving them much other than there's a random table to determine. 1 is Falman. Okay, so it attacks with the short sword with disadvantage because the aura is still up. Ooh, 6 does not hit the amazing armor class of 9 Falman. How they're pulling this off, I don't know, but it's working out. All right, so, but it ain't over yet. Top of the round, we got to roll for initiative again. Oh, that's bad. Oh, wow. Oh, but the -1 from Falman means that, okay, the skeleton gets to go first. So let's see who it attacks again. 1 is Falman, 2 is Percy. Percy, this time it's going after Percy. Oh no. Okay, so here we go. Short sword attack, normal. Can he beat an AC of 8 on a normal swing? Are you kidding me? Well, even if he did hit, it only would have been 1 damage on a D6. What a whiff from this skeleton. All right, so blinded by the light, the skeleton clatters, looks down at like the bottom torso just ripped off. It's having struggling to move, but it's undead, right? So it's immune to morale and fearless, and will just continue to fight as it goes down. turns to a new target, swings towards Percy. Percy ducks it in his clumsy way that he does so. But that being said, that's good. Hops back to our heroes. All right, so we hop back to Falman. He's like, "Ugh, damn it, I'm out of magic." And he swings around his big staff in an arcing sweep to try to take out the skeleton. Normal attack. Ooh, 15 beats the AC of 13 for 3 damage. 1, 2. Oh, it only had 2 left. Falman's staff is brought in a downward arc, hitting the clavicle and just shattering down the skeleton in front of it. It clambers through the ground, its chainmail and sword, everything falling to the ground. Falman, breathing heavy. What the blazes is that? What form of hell is coming through here? Oh, I don't know, but that was a bit too close for me. Oh, that hurt. How are you doing? Oh, much better now, thanks to that ointment of yours. Oh, wait. And then why I say wait is because I want to determine 2 things. In ShadowDark, there's a 50% chance that there's treasure after you finish an encounter. So, let's roll, and on a 1, there is treasure. 1, alright, there's some loot. Okay, so let's try to determine what it is. Treasure, alright, we got the treasure page here. That's a level 03 creature, so we're going to roll a D100. Here we go. 24. Ooh, chip of an emerald, 10 gold coins. Okay. That's why Falman interrupted what he was saying when he looks down and he sees something a little bit sparkling and reflecting in the sunlight. He gets down and he can see that there's a small chip of an emerald was like half hanging out of the long decayed pouch of this skeletal fighter. So, you know, it used to be a piece of loot that he must have found in his previous life. But either way, it's now Falman's. Now, the other thing I want to determine by calling upon the Oracle is, are there signs in this immediate window of more undead about to kind of emerge from this realm? So, let's hop back to our Oracle. We'll ask the Oracle the question here now. Is there more undead about to emerge from this particular window into another realm? Let's determine. Roll. Extreme no. Okay, how can we take that? Okay, so extreme no means that something, it must be the opposite, the extreme opposite. So instead of something hostile about to happen or more undead about to pour through, it's something good that's going to happen, right? So I think what something good that's going to happen is that the spiritual guardian, the essence of the spiritual guardian is still there and it's going to aid them in some manner. So what manner? Let's try to figure that out. The options I'm thinking, it could provide some form of healing to heal them back up. Or it could provide them with a bless. The spell bless that a priest can get actually provides luck tokens back to the party. I feel that's pretty fitting. The Spectral Guardian begins to speak, its voice reaching through the Terran reality to hit the ears of Falman and Percy. Brave souls, your triumph over the skeletal foe is commendable. Yet heed my warning. The merging of our realms has only begun, and more of the dead will soon break through. Accept this blessing to aid you in the battles ahead. And with that, the light aura that was a protection from evil fades away on Falman. However, with that, this spiritual guardian then sends out its blessing. And the spell blessing is restore luck to both Falman and Percy, which they're going to need because, let's face it, these two suck. But they managed to pull that off somehow. Now I can imagine at this time there's some chaos happening back at the festival. With that rip in reality, and especially if undead are beginning to pour out, that dragon is now preoccupied. It wanted that go out and pursue after this book, that the whole reason why I came here to begin with. However, I can imagine with waves of undead, or maybe it's not waves, or at least some undead creatures pouring out there, that would get its attention. And as the party hears off in the distance the roars and the sounds of like fire breath coming from a dragon, they know the dragon is preoccupied at the moment dealing with whatever is pouring out of that portal. Percy looks at Falman. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. And you lost both your spells. I'm not sure how many more you have left, but we got to get out of here. We can't keep pursuing. Not yet. We need to rest. We have to rest. So let's try to figure out here with popping this up. Let's do a charisma check and see if he's able to convince Falman that to not pursue, get rid of his greed for the time being, and just take a moment to take a rest and hopefully catch up to the warlock later. What would we say? Normally I would make it hard, which would be DC 15. However, given the circumstances that he's out of spells and that Percy's damaged, I'll make it normal. I'll drop it down to a normal. So DC 12. He is not able to convince him. Okay. All right, listen, Percy. I know you're hurt. I know my magic is faded and I need rest. But let's just pursue a little further, huh? Let's just try and at least see where this warlock is fleeing with this book. Maybe at least then we'll, have a trail to follow after our rest. Or maybe we can follow him till he gets to a town or encampment. I don't know. But come on, keep up. And begrudgingly, Percy lets out another frustrated sigh as he maintains pace with Falman. Now, at this point, Ashbourne probably has a great and tremendous lead. However, maybe not. Well, let's ask the Oracle system. So, we'll hop back over here, we'll pull up the Oracle, and our question will be, did Ashbourne run into trouble as he was trying to flee with that book as well? Let's find out. Yes, he did. No yes, but just yes. He also ran into trouble. So, more than likely, it is another portal that opened up and he's facing undead, right? But maybe not. So, let's try to determine. I have another question for it. It says in there you shouldn't ask more than 3 times. So, 3 questions for a scene. Well, I think, okay, so we know for sure he ran into trouble. Now, I want to know whether that trouble was a hazard or whether it was like a monster, like undead monster. Well, it might not be an undead monster, but odds are, I just like narrowing it down, right? Let the system determine a lot of this. So my next question will be, was it a combat conflict that interrupted Ashbourne? So let's ask that. Twist, that's bad. Okay. Because I was trying to determine whether it would be a hazard, like he fell down a mountain or something, slipped or broke an ankle or something like that, or whether it was something like literally a combat. So it's not a yes, it's not a no, it's something else entirely that happened. Not what you would expect. So what I expected was for one of 2 things, either him to be running down the hill, twist his ankle and hurt himself, or hazard or something like that, or for like a portal to open and more undead to interfere with them. But we need a twist. That's bad. If you're wondering why bad is there, I added in a small subtext here. As you can see, whenever I roll a 10 for a twist, it rolls again on another little table, which is a 50-50 chance whether it's good or bad. It just helps to guide my twist to know. So for Ashbourne, it's a bad twist for him. Okay, now for the third and final prompt, since it's a total twist, and it's not any of the things that I thought it would be, let's try to turn to the prompt and determine what it might be. Let's get some help from the prompt. Let's roll. Secure hope. Okay, so I really had to brainstorm on this one for a minute, but since it's a bad twist for Ashbourne, I feel like, and the words secure and hope, I feel like, okay, his hope by rushing away with this book was he was trying to secure his relationship with his lich, right? He was trying to basically win over her favor again. Now that he brought the book somewhere where he wasn't, he got reckless with it and put the book in danger. The lich is obviously, his master is obviously pissed at him, but, his hope was that by fleeing with this book and securing it and getting it back to safety, then that was going to be essentially what won over the favor. Now this went bad for him, which means to me he lost the book. He no longer has it. He was unable to secure it. They're rushing and they're ducking under branches, they're avoiding shrubbery, leaping over fallen logs in their injured state and tired state, but they're persistent to try to get this book. They look up ahead and now they see, far off in the distance, just there's enough break in the vegetation to see Ashbourne. They arrive to just see the tail end of an event happening in front of them. Ashbourne, He's holding the book under one arm and he's rushing through the vegetation. He's pushing trees out of the way and he bursts through the tree line to come out to a river. He starts running down the river's edge. And this is where the twist happens. Looking through this rip and tear in reality, different than all the previous ones, he now notices a swirling vortex of souls. Almost like a windstorm pulling itself into this other realm, and in doing so it's creating this massive gravitational pull or wind vortex, whatever it is. It's trying to pull things from this realm into that, and in doing so, poor Ashbourne is there trying to clutch the book. He looks around for something to grab onto. There's no trees around. He's going to grab a rock, the biggest rock that is protruding out of the riverbed, or the riverside. He grabs onto it, but the pull is too much, and this is why it went horribly wrong for him. He lets go. The book hurls from his hands and gets sucked into this other realm, wherever that may be. So we're going to hop back over here because I want to know whether this rift now will continue to pull things into it, or will it kind of like rip back in on itself? Was it just a temporary rip in reality where it just opened and tried to suck a bunch of things into it and then it closed up again? Or is it going to stay open? Because if it stays open, it has the chance to pull Ashbourne in with it. So let's find out. Oracle! So my question is, usually you got to ask the bad thing that would happen. So the bad thing would be, will this portal stay open and continue to try to suck things into it? The answer is no, but no, but let's see if we can get a prompt for some inspiration here. Let's see what it comes up with. Darken battle. No, but a darkened battle. Okay, so just as the immortal Echo Tomb slips from Ashbourne's grasp and flows in through that window into the other realm, it creates a backlash, a shockwave effect. And when whatever that magical energy that's bound in that book, the moment it reaches through and passes through into that realm, there's like a and it starts to snap and close back through. But when it does, it immediately sucks all of the life in the immediate vicinity in with it. So with that, let's hop over to our player characters and make some saving throws. Okay, so since wisdom in this is essentially willpower, we're going to make a DC 12, a normal wisdom check, which is like willpower, to try to prevent a bunch of your life essence from being sucked in with this as this chain reaction goes off. So let's start with Alfred Ashbourne. Wisdom DC 12. Fails. Okay. Let's check Percy. DC 12. Fails. Falman. Wait. Oh yeah, no. Okay, I was going to say they had Bless, but Bless in this just adds luck. Does he want to use luck for this? He's in pretty low shape here. This could be bad. I think he's going to burn his luck that he just got from being blessed from the Guardian to try to re-roll. Let's go. Success. Okay, only because he was blessed by that spiritual guardian just moments before was he able to pull through and dig deep to get through here. And DC 12 for Falman. Nat 20. Okay. Oh, when you get a nat 20 in this, the rules are, this is how you get luck tokens back normally, other than rare events like I just happened with the Bless spell, you know. But how to naturally get luck back in SoloDark is whenever you roll a nat 20. So we rolled a nat 20, so he gets a luck back. He already has his luck, so I'll follow the traditional ShadowDark rules, which means if you can give your luck to another player, so he'll give the luck straight back to Percy. Right? Makes sense. Okay. So with that, Ashbourne, holding on to this rock, all he's got, and his grip breaks, and he gets sucked in with it. You see literally his spirit and soul get torn from his body and get pulled and sucked into that rip in reality just as it closes. And there's a backlash. Also, in addition to that, you see that the surrounding area, the green grass and the vegetation along the shoreline all withers and turns black. You see Falman and Percy, both of them, they're there for a moment, and all they can do is to dig deep as whatever this other realm or powerful force on the other realm is trying to pull their life force and life essence out of them. Now, Falman and Percy, as they rush up to witness this, and they notice this tear, and then they watch as Ashbourne's soul literally get ripped from his body, and his lifeless corpse just kind of decays in front of him as the soul of Ashbourne gets pulled inside. He sees, and it's like a ripple effect as everything gets sucked in towards it. The green grass begins to decay. Any kind of like fish that were in the stream or a squirrel hopping by in the tree line, they just fall over, wither, and die, and their essence gets sucked in, and it seems like a wave. It just washes out past them. They dig deep, and Percy, if it wasn't for the spiritual guardian, blessing essentially, would have had his soul ripped out and went into the realm of the dead. However, he survives, and all within a split second. It probably only reached out about 100 feet from that window, and then everything sucks back in. And with that, Falman and Percy stay there. All is quiet. Falman turns to Percy. Oh my God, did you feel that? Oh. Percy drops to his knees, trying to breathe, and in total shock as his soul literally was almost ripped from his body. Falman takes a knee next to Percy, puts one hand on him. All right, lad. What was that? This is getting out of control. I think I might take you up on that long rest now. Percy lying there on the ground, cold and shaking, looking up at Falman. I thought I was gone. Yes, we have to get out of here. As he gets to his feet. Besides, the book went in with it. Wherever that leads to, I don't want to know. Falman helps Percy up, puts his arm over his shoulder, and they begin to make haste as quick as they can back towards the tree line. Once they clear about 100 feet of the decayed area where all the life essence was sucked out of it, they continue on into the greener, more lush vegetation, but into the unknown of the forest once again. Falman grumbles as they go. Oh, as terrifying as that is. Oh, I want the dead book. It contains such knowledge or something. What could it have been to drag and get the attention of a dragon? An ancient red dragon like that? Some kind of lich to appear and defend it. What kind of power, I ask you, Percy, what? Percy looks up to him with life starting to return and able to walk a little more on his own. Your obsession with this power is gonna consume you. It's gonna get us both killed, you know that, don't you? Percy, you've known me a long time, and this is it. This is what our life is. If you don't want it, you can leave. But I'm telling you, before my life is over, I'm going to gain so much power that I'll be known. Or I'll be known through the ages. Or maybe, just maybe, that there might be a way that I don't have to die at all, huh? Percy says, Come on, Falman. Tell me you wouldn't go to the extremes of becoming a lich. Like that undead monster back there. You wouldn't do that to yourself now, would you? Well, I'd rather not, I'd rather keep my good looks and beauty and all that, and keep my flesh and blood, But there's gotta be other ways. There's gotta be something we can do. Either way, I want to know more. I want to know more about that Tome of Immortal Echoes. What is this so important? And maybe that group of warlocks might have some answers, huh? Unlike that poor bastard who just got sucked through there. Man, he wanted that book. You see that? He refused to give it up even to the dragon when staring up at death himself. It's gotta be good. Now, maybe we can find more of these warlocks. Find out who they are and what they know. Yeah, sure. Let's just get some rest first, and then we can look into that whatever that cult is. Much better than going after whatever that lich or dragon or into that realm. What is happening though? Oh God, it's like everything is tearing apart. The realm of the dead are coming for us. Oh, you're right, lad. Maybe we won't even have time. Maybe it's just a matter of minutes or days until all of this realm is consumed. Surely there must be a way to stop it. Who will stop it? And with that, our two anti-heroes flee for several more minutes through the forest line until they come to an area where they do not see any more rips in reality, and at the same time they feel it is a fairly secure area where they're going to try to hunker down and take a long rest and try to recover from their adventures. Alright, real quick before we wrap it up, SoloDark. What do you think of it? Comment down below. Let me know what you think of the SoloDark system, what I've just showcased, a little bit of that, compared to the Mythic emulator. See what are the pros and cons of both, or which one do you like? I have a lot I could say on it, but I'll probably do a review video maybe or something in the future. But I'd like to know your thoughts below on SoloDark and how you think it went in comparison to the Mythic. Alright everybody, the next episode will be here on the screen if it's available at this time. Otherwise, if you enjoyed it, be sure to hit the like button, comment down below, let me know your thoughts on the adventure, share this with your friends if you want to help this channel grow, and as always, stay in the light.